Hey everybody, I'm here to give you a little review about my new Dave Talsma custom ukulele and a sound sample near the end. But this is a very quirky build. But before I get into the build and tell you why I wanted it built the way I did, I just want to give you, those of you who think you could never afford a custom built ukulele, I want you to really check into it because this is one ukulele that I got and beautiful ukulele. I love it. It's wonderful sounding, got some beautiful koa, and I do love it. I like it a lot. But this custom built was less money than this. So when you're shopping for ukes and you're thinking about having one built, perhaps like for a special occasion like I did with this, you won't be put off by contacting a builder. That being said, let me get back onto my inspiration for this ukulele. And I've talked to many people about this dream of mine for several years. Matter of fact, one recognized the uke as being my uke before they knew it was my uke because the craziness of the design. But I'm a huge fan of Maccaferri Islanders, the plastic Maccaferri Islanders. I've got one sitting right back here. I've got several in my closet. Um, but they're a plastic uke from the 50s and 60s. They may have sold 9 million of them, I believe. And I don't know if it was because I was deprived of them, wasn't as a child. That's why I like them so much. Who knows? But I have a strange affinity towards them. And I use that as part of the inspiration for this. But the other ukulele that I really like is a Martin III, the old vintage ones with the ivory inlay that they have down here. And but I always figured that I would probably never buy one because, frankly, one of those vintage ones costs more than this to build. Um, and I've owned two Martins, and I always felt like I was crowded up here near the headstock. Perhaps that's back holding whatever it is. But that uke was not comfortable in my hands. So let's go with custom build and get all three of them put into one, right? Okay, so if you look up here at this ukulele, and I'll just pull it off the stand, take a look at that bridge. That's what I call kind of a standard, the basic standard bridge. And you'll be able to see this is in ebony. Dave was able to mimic that, and I was able to have the string through bridge, which I really prefer. Um, the binding is Martin inspired. The inlay is Martin inspired, but it's also inspired by the headstock shape, and I'll get to that in a minute. Now, when on the headstock here, you'll see these two V's or chevrons, however you want to describe them. The semi-deluxe model of the Maccaferri has those on it, and so does the deluxe model. So I wanted those put in, and Dave put them in with, you can kind of see, maybe if I get my angle right, curly koa and curly maple. It's got a fantastic a visual to it. This kite up here, of course, is an Islander, or excuse me, the Martin III version. Um, Fingerboard is Maccaferri inspired, and this is where I'll bring over the other Maccaferri. Here you can see the headstock on the deluxe. It's what I always called the open book. It looks like an open book's profile, or what I always thought was the mustache. Now you can see where I got that inspiration for the headstock shape. It's got the mustache. We also copied that down here. I like that imagery there. The fingerboard also is copied from the Maccaferri, inspired by the Maccaferri, and that's done in ebony, so we get that nice black look. And I love playing an ebony fingerboard. If you haven't done it yet, you should because I feel they play fantastic. So you can see the similarities with the dot placement, all that stuff with mine. Now there's one big difference with this. I did want PegHed tuners. I love them. I love the fact that they're light. And Dave was able to get me the deluxe pegs with the ivory tips, and of course they match the inlay dots on the fingerboard. And a couple of the other custom features that I wanted was 1.5 inches at the nut. And I wanted a 14-inch scale. Now this one is a 14 1/4 inch. Dave had that jig already made. So 14 1/4 inch scale from bridge to saddle, or from saddle to nut, and 1.5 inch wide at the fingerboard. Now those of you who have played the Magic Flukes or Fleas, the Flea version is pretty much this scale, 14-inch scale with 1.5 at the nut. It's very comfortable in my hand, plays really nice. I'm trying to think if there's anything else squirrely that I had designed in here. The one thing that I really wanted was the wood to emulate plastic injection molding, because as you can tell, you get some pretty crazy colors, and effects there in a multitude of colors. I didn't have a mahogany uke, and I chose mahogany, and we attempted to get quilted maple, some good quilted maple, but it's harder to find than an honest politician. This, however, is some fantastic figured quilted. Um, if you can see it, it kind of looks like it has different waves of orange go through it. Of course, that may change as it ages, but it doesn't have the typical, what I would call, straight line mahogany grain. You can kind of see how it changes a little bit there. The color seems to change. Stripes, sort of. Anyway, so that kind of mimics that. The other parts in here that are kind of cool is this kite and this inlay here came from Maccaferri plastic. Dave surprised me with the tail piece, which came from Maccaferri plastic. And the one thing that I did request was that I wanted what I call a belly button on the uke, and that is on the Maccaferri Islander you get an injection mark, if you can see it right there at the heel, where the injection pin pushes it out of the mold. And I wanted that reflected in the ukulele too, and Dave went a much more beautiful step forward than I anticipated, but he's got a pearloid button there with and then the purple is plastic, Maccaferri plastic. And where we got the plastic, no ukuleles were harmed in this. I bought a headstock once on eBay just for the tuners. That's all they had. The headstock broke off and they sold it. So I bought the tuners, and I had this old headstock in my collection. So I sent him that, and that's where he was able to get the plastic for this and this. And like I say, if you look real close, you can see a little strand of blue going through. I'll see if I can hold up the, get it centered there. There you can see a little strand of blue through it. So those are some of the quirky things I had done for this ukulele. Now I'll give you a sound sample. We'll see how it goes. See how you like it. Now, if you've never played, well, mahogany is quite common used, but it's in between kind of sound. It's not poppy bright like a spruce top, kind of mellower. And I'll play this one for you. And like I say, I've only had this for about 2 weeks now, somewhere in there. And we'll give it a go and we'll see what you think. I'll start first with a little finger-picked piece. This is a little piece that I made up called Harold and Charlie. Kind of abbreviated this tune there, but so you can kind of hear it up the register a little bit. I think it sounds good as it opens up. I can imagine how much more it's going to sound now. This is a 14 1/4 inch scale with 1.5 inch at the nut, so it gives you that skosh more room. Gives me that skosh more room. Fantastic! It really is a beautiful piece of art that functions lovely. Just love it. So if you're thinking about a custom but you're afraid of the cost, contact some builders anyway, because I think you may be surprised, and you might have some special event like an anniversary or a retirement like this was for me that comes along that demands a special gift. And like I say, my wife said, you know, if there's a special ukulele you'd like to have built or anything, why don't you go ahead and do it? And I went, okay. Took that much time. So have fun. I know I'm going to have fun. And if you see me and you see me carrying, well, ask me if I'm carrying it. I'll let you play it. I have no problems with that at all. Fun combination of two ukuleles, a Martin and a Maccaferri, and I don't know, just lovely. Check out Dave Talsma ukuleles. Wonderful builder.